Hey y'all, it's me, Dree. So let's get into the message because this collective starts this reading in anticipation. And honestly, I gotta say, this anticipation, it feels justified. This doesn't feel like fantasy to me. It doesn't feel like wishful thinking either. This feels like the emotion that naturally forms when you've been building something for a very long time. When you've invested, you've shown up, you've put energy into it. And when you've been watching something take shape, and because of that, there's an expectation that things are going to continue moving forward naturally. But then something happens. And I'm getting that whatever happens here, it's significant enough to shift the collective from anticipation into panic. Now, panic, this is interesting because panic doesn't happen when everything is stable. Panic happens when something that felt stable suddenly does not. When something changes. When something disrupts the trajectory. Or something creates uncertainty where certainty used to exist. And I'm getting that the collective was left trying to understand what exactly had happened. That would feel like real panic. But then this lands in detachment. And I don't think this detachment is emotional mastery at first. I don't think this detachment is enlightenment. I think this is what happens when something is cut off so abruptly that the collective never gets a chance to fully process it. So instead of understanding it, instead of resolving it, instead of completing it, the collective, they detach from it. And I'm getting that's where y'all have remained for quite some time. But now let's see why. Because let's just get into it. We start with the 10 of Cups, the 6 of Wands, the 8 of Wands reversed, and the Knight of Swords reversed. So this story is starting in a really interesting place. Because normally, when we get a story arc in a spread, we usually watch something build. But here, we are arriving in the middle of something that already looks successful. This is a 10 of Cups. So this speaks of harmony, fulfillment, stability. This is a life being built. I'm getting that this was something real. This was family. And then with this 6 of Wands, this brings in recognition, success, achievement, real progress. So this is why the anticipation existed, because there was real movement and momentum here. There was something tangible taking shape. This is something real. But then this Eight of Wands comes in reverse. So I'm getting something enters the field unexpectedly. This could be communication. It could be information. It could be an event. But I'm getting something happens that was significant enough to completely change the trajectory of whatever this was that you were building, because the momentum, it stops. Things stall out. And this is the moment that matters here, because when this stall happens, I'm getting that whoever you were attached to, they shift into this Knight of Swords reversed energy. This is impulsive, hurtful, out of control, and then a missed opportunity. And that's what I'm getting. The disruption itself, whatever came in with this Eight of Wands reverse, the disruption itself was not this missed opportunity. The missed opportunity was what happened after this disruption came in. Because I'm getting that instead of pausing, instead of realigning, instead of understanding what exactly was happening, this other person takes the situation all the way to a missed opportunity. And I'm getting that they did it fast, and they did it without really thinking things through. But this is a full-blown I don't know what to call it. So many words are coming to mind. But regardless of that, this is why the collective starts to panic. Because y'all are trying to understand how something that was a 10 of Cups and a 6 of Wands, how could that suddenly take off in such a hurtful way? So the second column, the center spread, we start with the waning and waxing moon, and this came out sideways. And then we have the Three of Swords, the Ace of Coins, and the Four of Wands. So now time enters the story, because whatever was communicated back here, it doesn't disappear. It lingers. I'm getting that the collective is left dealing with it, trying to connect the dots. And this waxing and waning moon energy, this enters the field, and it says that the collective is gaining wisdom and reevaluating your plans, which I'm getting you obviously would have if this person just exited your reality altogether. But this also talks about new perspectives and having patience. So I'm getting that this situation, it's left to breathe. And as time passes, I'm getting that the collective begins understanding what they were actually experiencing here. And then we arrive at the Three of Swords. So this is where things change. Because I'm not getting that the collective is grieving the loss of this Ten of Cups anymore. I'm getting the collective is realizing that Ten of Cups was not what they thought it was. This is disillusionment. This is the collapse of a distortion that they were holding on to. This is the moment where the collective finally understands why the heartbreak existed in the first place, with the sorrow, the grief, the depression, the confusion, because it all starts making sense. And I'm getting that this is where the pattern starts to become visible, because something strange is happening. It seems as soon as the tears dry from this hurtful and out of control situation, this other person, they land and they get an Ace of Coins. So this is a new beginning, a new opportunity, a new foundation. And the Four of Wands, they get community support, celebration, recognition. And I'm hearing it, so I'm going to say it. This could possibly even be wedding energy for some of you. And this is where I can clearly see the pattern. And I'm hoping y'all can too, because while the collective is still trying to understand this whole ending, this other person has already moved on into another beginning with another person. And like this Ten of Cups and Six of Wands, we've got the Ace of Coins and the Four of Wands. So the cycle, it's just recycling again. By this point, I'm getting the collective. Y'all have to detach. And this is not because you don't care. This is because there has been no resolution, no accountability. There has been no proper ending and no real closure. And eventually, the collective, you stop waiting for one altogether. And then this message ends with the tarot. I've got the Queen of Cups, the vernal equinox, the world reverse, the Ten of Wands. So by this point, the collective, y'all have returned to yourselves, to y'all's intuition, to y'all's empathy, to y'all's emotional center, to y'all's ability to trust what they know and to trust what they feel. And then we hit the vernal equinox. So this is what's done in the dark must come to the light. And when it does, I'm getting, the collective is getting this fresh start, awakening, act now energy. And I'm getting that this is where the collective realizes something. Because their fresh start It is not in fixing the old situation. Their fresh start is in leaving it behind. Because this other person, they still haven't closed the chapter. The world reverse comes in, and this is this person from so long ago, revisiting the past, feeling the lack of completion, seeking closure, feeling unfinished business, and all they've been doing all this time is taking shortcuts. That's never properly ending one chapter before beginning another. And eventually I'm getting that all of that catches up. Because instead of building something real, instead of addressing what was left behind, this person's burden, it just accumulates. This Ten of Wands, it expresses heavy load, overwhelmed, brink of collapse, done. And that's what I'm getting here. The collective thought they were carrying the burden all this time. But the reality is, the collective was being guided back to their Queen of Cups, back to themselves. And this person who never addressed the situation, this person who never completed the chapter, they're the ones carrying the weight now, aren't they? The collective starts this reading in anticipation. Then comes a disruption. That was not their fault. And then comes panic. Then comes detachment. But what looked like a loss, that was actually disillusionment. Because the collective wasn't grieving what was real. The collective was grieving what they thought was real. And I'm telling you now that once the distortion becomes visible, that's when everything changes. Because the collective finally understands that not every successful looking situation is built on a solid foundation. And sometimes the truth, sometimes that takes years to reveal itself fully. And when it does, the fresh start isn't found in the past anymore. The fresh start is found in finally walking away from it. And that's the message that I got for y'all today. So if this one landed, then please like my message, leave me a comment, and follow along. And remember, where there is love, there is light. I'll see y'all again real soon.